This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Work can be a little weird. Cringy training seminars, coworkers who won't stop talking about their plant, forgetting the mute button at an inopportune moment. We have to deal with a lot on any given workday. Sometimes it can feel hard to thrive and move forward in your career. Well, that's where LinkedIn comes in. LinkedIn helps you get ideas and insights from experts in your field, connect with people professionally, grow your network, and access tools designed to help you find the right fit for your next role. Whether you're just getting started, figuring out your next move, or looking to accelerate your career, LinkedIn is built to support you at every stage because LinkedIn is the network that works for you. Visit linkedin.com/knowstuff to learn more. Stuff at Sea is a 5-night adults-only sailing trip that brings the Stuff podcast universe to life on board. This voyage is a culture-soaked escape where pink sand paradise meets curious minds. Sailing round trip from New York City to Bermuda on October 2nd to 7th, 2026, this voyage drops you straight into the iHeart Podcast Stuff universe. On top of the adults-only experience you already love, you'll get live podcast episode recordings, behind-the-scenes sessions, themed activations, and more unmissable onboard moments. Learn more at virginvoyages.com/stuff.
Hey, everybody. We wanted to announce officially ticket sales info for the last bit of our 2023 tour. We're going to be in Orlando on August 12th.
Nice.
We're going to be in Nashville, Tennessee on September 6th.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to wrap it all up in Atlanta, Georgia on September 9th.
What? Yes, it's true. And our tickets are starting to go on sale right now. There's an artist pre-sale. That's us, we're the artists.
That's
starting
right.
on Tuesday, June 13th, then ending that day too. But fear not, there's another pre-sale on the 14th and the 15th, and then just regular on-sale tickets start on Friday, June 16th. And for those pre-sales, you can use the code SYSKLIVE for your pre-sale tickets.
That's right. And for each of these days, everything is going to go on sale at 10 a.m. local time.
So for tickets and information, you can go to our website, stuffyoushouldknow.com, or you can go to linktree/SYSK, and you'll get everything you need there.
Welcome to Stuff You Should Know, a production of iHeartRadio.
Hey, and welcome to the podcast. I'm Josh, and there's Chuck and Jerry's here too, and we're all sparkling clean, spotless, and not smelly at all for this edition of Stuff You Should Know.
Actually, I'm a little smelly today.
Are you? Let me smell. Hold on. I think you're nice. I would say ripe, but not in an unpleasant way.
Oh, what? You didn't scratch. You're supposed to scratch, then sniff.
Oh, wait. Oh, yes, that is quite unpleasant.
That tickles. All right. That was my joke.
That was a great joke, Chuck. Jerry
No,
thinks so too, but she's on mute, so we can't hear her laughing.
I am a little bit smelly, but that was not in preparation to record. I just haven't showered in a couple of days, you know?
Couple of days for real?
Yeah, like 2 days.
Okay, yeah.
What's today? Tuesday?
I'm not being judgy. I'm just surprised. I do every day.
Oh, I skip days all the time.
But when I do it, it's all over the place. Like if I have an appointment in the morning, obviously I'm taking a shower before that. If I don't have an appointment, I'll probably take a shower before bed. If we go out to dinner, it might be in the middle of the day. Who knows? It's based on my schedule. But there's rarely a day that goes by where I don't take a shower. Not because I think it's dirty to not take a shower.
Sure.
But because I feel like I think I just sleep better if I've had a shower that day. If I don't, I think I sleep worse.
Yeah, I mean, well, a shower is a great, wonderful, relaxing thing when you're an adult, when you finally appreciate bathing. And I certainly do appreciate bathing, but, you know, sometimes you just, or maybe you don't because you do it, but sometimes I just don't want to feel wet. I don't want to get wet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. That doesn't actually happen to me. Mine is I don't feel like going to the trouble of taking a shower. I just feel like feeling like I feel after the shower. Yeah. So that's my motivator. I have no problem with being wet now that you mention it.
Shower before bed. That's nice. I should do that.
Oh, yeah, Chuck. You don't know what you're missing. Shower before bed, wrap yourself in some fresh linen that you throw away the next day.
And it doesn't wake you up too bad?
No. Well, I would not recommend taking a cold shower before bed. I recommend taking a cold shower throughout the day, but not before bed. You want to take like a nice tepid to warm a shower, and it's like It's like dipping yourself into a warm glass of milk rather than drinking it.
All right. Well, at the risk of still going on and on here at the beginning, I have a 5-second story of living in Athens one summer in my friend's place who had moved out. And he was like, my parents paid the rent. You don't have a place to stay. You should just stay there.
Nice.
And I did, but he cut off the utilities. So I lived by candlelight and took cold showers for 3 months because that's what you do in college sometimes.
That's so colonial.
It was very fun, actually.
That is cool. Yeah. So you basically glammed.
Yeah. I didn't hang out there a lot. I just slept there basically.
Slept there and took cold showers. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, Chuck, you taking cold showers and sleeping by candlelight really kind of dovetails with a large section of this episode.
Yeah.
Which is around, like I said, the colonial era, which we'll get to later. I don't really have a very good segue other than this because we actually don't want to talk about the colonial era yet. So let's start further back.
Yeah, we're talking about the history of hygiene, and this is another great one from Livia. I've been not obsessed, but just really interested lately in histories of commonplace things. Mm-hmm. And exercise was one, and now we're doing bathing. And as Livia points out, and as many anthropologists have pointed out, and animal behaviorists, animals before human beings have a lot of practices that we would and probably can call hygienic, like bathing type of things, using communal toilets within a species, stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a behavioral scientist named Valerie A. Curtis who wrote a book, not a book, I'm sorry, it was a paper about, I can't remember the name of it. I'm sorry, I thought I wrote it down. But basically, Curtis makes the point that you could trace hygiene and hygienic behaviors back to unicellular life. Like that's how old it is. If you look at hygiene and hygienic behaviors as a means of either ridding yourself of disease or preventing disease, because those unicellular bacteria, they had ways of like getting rid of parasites and pathogens. And that's essentially what you're doing. When you're washing yourself off, you're ridding yourself of parasites and pathogens. So yeah, it's a really ancient impulse that we have. It's just now we don't think of it as like disease prevention. We associate it mostly with beauty.
Yeah.
So we've kind of divorced it from its original roots, but we're still doing the same thing. We're just not thinking of it the same way.
Yeah, and it's interesting. You'll notice as we go through this stuff, at different times in the history of humans, we bathed for different reasons, and sometimes we were right on base, sometimes we were off base, but it wasn't always like to get clean. Sometimes it was social reasons. Sometimes the side benefit was you got a little clean. Sometimes they didn't bathe because they thought water was bad. So it's really interesting how we've, kind of been all over the map throughout human history as far as bathing goes, starting with hair even.
Well, also, but even before that, it's kind of waxed and waned, which I didn't realize. I thought it was just a steady progress toward the point we're at now. That's not the case.
Where you take a shower every night?
Yeah, there were right, exactly. There were chunks of time where we bathed, and then that just kind of went away, you were saying. It just at different times and places. It wasn't just like a linear progression. And one of the ideas that we're, I guess, going to kind of get rid of in this episode is that the people in the days of yore, historical people, were not just dirty, gross people who it never even occurred to groom or bathe or whatever. Like the stuff they had available to them and the ways that they were grooming seems not quite enough probably to those of us in the West today. But it was still the same impulse. It was still the same thought. And they were still very fastidious in their own way. So the idea that everybody was gross back then is wrong. Actually, they were in a real minority. And most people who were purposefully gross, especially during the medieval era, were doing it to punish themselves to be better Christians, essentially. Everybody else was like, we're going to just figure out how to take a bath in the river or comb our hair.
Yeah, exactly. And, on the note of not yucking yums, there are plenty of people, and I think even sub-movements of groups of people who don't like to bathe or use soap or deodorant and embrace the natural odors of the body and may not even wash their hair because that's a thing they're trying to do. that's your jam. That's fine. It's, certain things are more acceptable than others in certain societies and cultures. But like, if that's your deal, we're not poo-pooing it. We're just telling you the history of this stuff. Yeah.
I feel like you're subtweeting the French right now.
But I mentioned hair, and one of the first things we can debunk, thanks to in part to an anthropologist named Judith Berman from a 1999 paper that Judith wrote, was that cavemen, even going all the way back then, and we'll use that in quotes, cavemen were just these wild, messy-haired beasts that had basically bird's nest in their hair, and that wasn't necessarily the case.
No, I mean, look at even as recently as Unfrozen Caveman Lawyer. He had a huge wild mane of hair.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, she points out in this great titled paper, Bad Hair Days in the Paleolithic, that people have probably been cutting their hair for a very long time, millions of years, and that even, I think Berman pointed to Venus figurines, saying like they even had different hairstyles back then. Like this is literal prehistory. These are prehistoric people, and they were cutting their own hair. They were creating hairstyles. And if you look at some cave paintings, some of the figures are beardless. Others have beards. So that shows that they actually also cut their beards and trim their body hair, probably because they were combating lice at the time.
Yeah. Lice comes back quite a few times. So
yeah, they're a problem.
If you're triggered by that itch-inducing word, then just get ready.
And also, just real quick, lice, by the way, they're a type of wingless insects who feast on human blood, typically at the scalp. But there's also body lice, which you can find in chest hair and armpit hair. And then there's pubic lice, also known as crabs. Either way, you don't want them anywhere on your body. But if you don't bathe a lot, you can have them on your body pretty easy.
Yeah. And if you grew up in the 70s and 80s, do they still do lice checks?
No.
We had lice checks in school. There's
a big controversy about it, about whether they should or not. And they're
really?
like, no, this is unnecessarily excluding kids. And other parents are like, these kids are going to spread lice. So there's just like everything else, there's problems and debate at the Board of Education about that.
There's debate at boards of educations?
Yeah, it's crazy.
So combing hair, shampoo hasn't been around that long, and we'll get to sort of where that came from. Thank you, Procter & Gamble. But combing hair was one way that they sort of cared for hair before there was things like shampoo, because we have the sebum, which we'll talk about on the skin and in the hair. That's the oil, the hair oil. Mm-hmm. And if you comb that sebum out of your hair, you are helping to protect your hair, can get rid of some odors. It will, when you don't wash your hair, it'll look and get kind of greasy. But I get the feeling that greasy thing is more of a modern thing that we want to get rid of. And back then it was just like, at least comb the sebum through the hair to help protect it.
Yeah, it helps protect it. It also breaks up areas where dirt and dust and grime and lice can collect and feed. So you're just you're doing like a 1-2 punch with combing. And we figured this out a very long time ago. There's a comb from
Syria.
From the a little more recent than that, but from the Bronze Age, we found a comb that had an inscription that said, "May this tusk root out the lice of the hair and beard." So it's clearly a lice comb. But I think they, like you were saying, they found a comb that was at least 10,000 years old, all the way back in Syria.
It's an old comb.
I mean, if you think about it, also look at the Flintstones. People used to use fish skeletons for combs. Like, it just makes sense, No,
sure. Simpsons. I never was cool enough to carry the comb in the back pocket, but that was a big 80s look. Was that, what was the brand? I want to say Goodies. Was that it?
Yes, you're right. Yep, that was it.
So they make headache powder and combs? Or is that two different things?
It could be two different things, but it's also possible. They're like GE. They do a lot of different stuff.
They bring good things to light?
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, those combs with the handle and then like the comb on the side just above where your fist holds it.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And then you also had the Afro pick too.
Oh, yeah, with the Black Power fist. Mm-hmm. Those are great. So pre-shampoo, though, besides combing, there was washing going on. We talked about this stuff in our soap episode. We're going to go over a little bit of it today, but ash, which has lye, was used to wash hair. It was used to wash skin. We'll get into the animal fat stuff a little bit later, but if you were well-to-do prior to the French Revolution, you might powder your hair. And I never knew what that was. I thought it was some kind of talc, but I think it could actually be flour, like wheat flour.
Well, yeah, supposedly one of the, I guess, inciting ideas of the French Revolution was that the aristocrats were using flour in their hair when other people couldn't even afford bread.
Yeah, that's really in your face.
That really ticked some people off enough to like chop the heads off of the people who had flour in their hair.
That's right.
So you mentioned lye. I saw that you could wash your hair with it, and it has a conditioning effect too, which is weird because it also goes in and breaks up all of that sebum pocket or the pockets. But I just have to say this on a very personal note.
Oh, boy.
I have been in a strange tunnel where things that I'm seeing, reading, watching on TV, I immediately see in real life. I want to give you two examples.
Okay.
One, on our exercise episode, I was driving around QAing it.
You saw a guy jogging?
No, listen. That would have blown my mind. No, this is even crazier than that.
All right.
I mentioned what I couldn't even remember the name of, but people have since written in the ab roller, that little weird thing that helps you do crunches.
Yeah.
I couldn't even remember the name of it, let alone I can't remember the last time I saw one. Within an hour of QAing that episode and hearing that part, I drove past a garbage can near my house that had an ab roller sticking out of it.
Did you grab it?
No, I was too astonished. I think I almost like ran into a stop sign. It was so nuts. And then the other one, that the reason I brought this up is I watched a video on medieval hair washing. And it was this medieval person leaning over a basin, washing her hair with like the water kind of going down her hair, kind of dangling in front of her. Like less than an hour later, I go across the street to the park where there's like travelers that camp there. One of them was washing her hair that way. I've never seen her there before. I've never seen anybody wash their hair at this park. But within an hour of watching a medieval woman wash her hair like that, I saw a real life woman at the park doing the same thing.
Wow.
I mean, these are like two of just fistfuls of examples that have been happening to me lately. I don't know what's going on.
I love it. Podcast imitates life, or life imitates podcast?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, with body hair, I'm curious to see what else comes true with this one.
Okay.
But with body hair, it kind of depends on the time and place in the world, on whether or not people thought it was should be on your body or should not. And that continues today with some people. But when the Europeans came over and met indigenous Native Americans, the Europeans were like, boy, you guys are really hairy. And Native Americans were like, no, bruh, you're really hairy.
Right.
We actually pluck a lot of our hair and are not known to be very hairy as a people. And that really confused me because I've always thought that Native Americans had less body hair, just, sort of genetically or whatever.
I think they do. And I think they're like, what this is saying is that they get every last one whenever like they have the errant hair come up, pluck it.
Well, why would the Europeans call them hairy?
I think, this is my theory, that there were a lot of dumb Europeans who traveled there and were confused with buffalo skins.
Oh, really?
That's my hypothesis.
Wow, all right.
That's what I'm going with.
Man, if you see a guy wearing a buffalo skin tomorrow.
That would be, I will be reporting back on that.
What about, removing hair, like, pubic hair and stuff?
Actually, that goes back to ancient Egypt. Did you know that?
I did not know that. Doesn't surprise me, but I didn't know that.
There's a technique called sugaring. It's like waxing, but you use basically this kind of thick honey-colored paste, and it does the same thing. It just pulls the hair out in a different direction. The Egyptians used to do the exact same thing.
I believe it because, as you'll see, Egypt comes up a lot. They were big into, what they thought of as hygiene at the time. Not
just hygiene, but also beauty, too. They were the ones that kind of established it. Like, they would pluck their eyebrows. I saw in different places and different times people used to use mouse skin to cover their eyebrows so that you basically didn't have eyebrows because that would give the effect of a high forehead, which was viewed as aristocratic. That dates all the way back to the Egyptians, too. There's nothing hygienic about that. You want your eyebrows because they trap the dirt and the grime and stuff that gets in your eyes.
Yeah, that's why they're there, right?
Yeah. So to pluck it, it's strictly a cultural beauty standard.
Right. Exactly. And I think, didn't the word shampoo come, I think it was originally a verb that I guess the Native Americans didn't use it, but we used that word to describe what they were doing, right?
Yes, they would anoint their heads with essential oils, I believe.
Yeah. And shampoo was a verb, and then it became a noun once they bottled it, I guess.
Exactly. So I guess we're kind of jumping around a little bit from ancient Egypt to 20th century United States, but that is where we come upon the safety razor created by King C. Gillette, I think all the way back in like 1904. And this was, I think, for men at first. Yeah, it was for men at first, and men used to go to the barber and get shaved every week.
Yeah.
And the Gillette company said, no, you want to do this every day or else you look like a total slob.
Right.
And by the way, buy our refillable razor cartridges. And then about 2 decades later, women started wearing clothes that showed their like underarms and legs and all this. And Gillette saw another chance to double their market, and they did.
That's right. All right. Should we take a break?
Yes.
All right. We've gone through hair, and we'll jump into the bathtub next.
We've all had the experience of calling a business and just wanting to talk to a real person. Not an automated voice pretending to be human, an actual person who can listen and understand and offer help.
That's exactly what you can do with Ruby. Ruby is the virtual receptionist company that takes care of your callers when you're unavailable in the middle of something or simply don't want to pick up.
That's right. They can answer, screen, transfer calls. They can take messages, collect payments, book appointments, and more, all while making the people you serve feel special.
And best of all, it can help you be more productive. For example, 9 out of 10 lawyers who use Ruby log more billable hours per day than the national average.
And other professionals like plumbers and technicians win more customers while being able to stay focused on the job. But whatever kind of small business you run, Ruby is built to save you time, earn you more customers or clients, and make meaningful connections with the people you serve.
It's available 24/7, 365 days a year, and 100% based in the U.S. See why more than 15,000 small businesses use Ruby. Visit ruby.com, or better yet, call them at 844-900-RUBY.
The springtime thaw is finally here. Flowers are blooming, days are longer. We're saying yes to more plans and finally getting outside, running, walking, just moving again. It's the perfect time to upgrade your everyday go-tos with Bombas. Take Bombas Sport Socks. They're super comfortable and designed with sport-specific tech for running, cycling, yoga, hiking, you name it. I use them to run in, and I can tell you they work beautifully. So head over to bombas.com and use code SYSK for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com, code SYSK at checkout.
So you're considering getting a home security system, but you want something that fits your space. Well, with ADT Blue, it's easy to customize a system that's right for you and set it up yourself. Just pick the kit and monitoring plan that makes sense for your home.
Yeah, well, let's say you're worried about package theft right off your front porch. The ADT Plus app can walk you through setting up a new doorbell camera kit. Once it's installed, ADT Pros can help you keep tabs on it 24/7, or you can manage it yourself from the ADT Plus app.
That's right, there are no long-term contracts, so you can change your monitoring plan whenever you want. The flexibility doesn't end there either. You can add to your system as you need with things like extra cameras or motion sensors.
Some life decisions are hard, but thanks to ADT Blue, you can get DIY trusted ADT home security in a snap. Head to ADT.com/BLU to build your system today. And to find out more about home protection, check out a new episode of Grown Up Stuff with security expert Joe Mazza, out now on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Okay, so we're jumping into the bath. Chuck, hold hands. Let's jump in together.
I've got to hold my nose with my other hand, so switch hands.
Fair enough. Bathing is a really, really old thing. Look at elephants. Look at hippopotami. They bathe. Mm-hmm. Humans bathe too. All of the same impulse, but we kind of like, it took us a very long time to get from bathing to the kind of bathing that we get to today. bathing back then was just either submersing yourself in water or using a very little amount of it, depending on where you were in the world and what time or what period in history you're talking about.
Yeah, and it was often a social thing, and not even necessarily for cleaning your body. I guess just like I said earlier, sort of like a secondary benefit. But they have found bathing pools, like a 900 square foot great bath in Mohenjo-Daro, which was an Indus civilization in 3rd millennium BCE. And they also had washrooms in homes, and they had, for the time, pretty good sewage system going on. So they're looked at as a people that, believe that hygiene was an important thing.
Yeah, and bath houses just kind of kept going from there, not just in the Middle East. China, Rome was very famous for bathhouses.
Sure.
And wherever the Romans went, they brought bathhouses with them. So bath culture spread along with the Roman Empire as well. And I think there was an estimate that around 1000 CE, so just over 1,000 years ago, Baghdad supposedly had 60,000 bathhouses. And that is a little bit of an exaggeration, most historians guess. But it does kind of go to show, like, there were a ton of bathhouses in the Middle East at the time. It was just a part of life.
Yeah, and that you've probably done this, right? Somewhere in the world?
I went to the oldest Turkish bath in Europe I guess Turkey's part of Europe now. The oldest Turkish bath, at least in Hungary. It was in Red Heat, at the beginning of Red Heat with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And it was awesome, man. Like, the old stones are like, you're still sitting in the same place that people sat in for, the last 400, 500 years.
I think Emily went to that very bath on her trip last year to Hungary. And this is just like the social thing. I mean, is it like a big hot tub? Like, you're not bathing, right?
It is like a big hot tub, and then it's like a big sauna. And like this bathhouse was unusual because it was essentially co-ed like throughout.
Right.
Most bathhouses weren't at the time. They either had separate bathhouses for men and women, or they had a single bathhouse that men used at one time and women used at a different time. I'm not sure why this particular one bucked the trend, because it was such a traditional Turkish bath. But it was definitely co-ed, and it was, you were just sitting there bathing with tons of other people.
You in a swimsuit?
Yes, you were, because it was co-ed. But if you go to like a place like Jeju in, I think, Chambly, have you ever been to that?
No, I'm not into this.
It's amazing, dude. Start taking showers before bed, and I'll bet you'll be into bathing like in not too long. But this is like separated men and women. So you're basically naked around a bunch of dudes you don't know.
Not into it.
But listen, you just get used to it, and when you do, it's amazing. Like the whole scene is just so chill, and like there's just so much warm water everywhere. It's just so relaxing. It's nuts.
I'm having a panic attack.
Well, okay, I'll give you another one then. Next time you're in New York, go to Queens. There's a place called Spa Castle, and it's almost exclusively co-ed, so everybody's wearing bathing suits. But it has like all the same stuff, and it's really great. Yeah, I would say start with Spa Castle. Okay.
Well, and just to be clear, this is has nothing to do with like homophobia, obviously. I was raised Southern Baptist, and I don't like to be naked with myself.
Oh, no, I'm with you. I don't either.
What I mean?
I do not either. I basically had to force myself to just get over it. And once I did, I was glad I did. But I do know what you mean.
Are you Josh from Stuff You Should Know?
Right. And I just sit there and make a helicopter. And I'm like, I am.
Oh, man, I need that kind of confidence. So you mentioned earlier different times where people you might think were dirty and maybe weren't, and that is medieval times. We had this idea probably that it was just everyone was disgusting, but they actually bathed fairly regularly back then. But for the odd reason that they thought it would help your inside problems, like if you had poor gut health or digestive issues, they thought bathing could help that, which is, they're off base. Yeah,
they were a little off base. They also thought that that washing your hair would help more than just bathing, because that's where those digestive issues emanated from your scalp, and that's why your scalp would get dirty. It's because you had poorly digested food. So they were a tad bit off. But again, this is where we get to the point where this is where bathing kind of fell out of favor in the 15th, 16th century Europe. Before that, in the 12th and 13th and I think 14th century, like people actually bathed more then than they did from the 15th to the 18th century in Europe. They were way more into bathing and cleanliness and fastidiousness than they were starting in about the 15th century. But one of the things that these people in the later years did, if instead of bathing, they were still concerned with cleanliness, but like you said, they were way off in their ideas about how to be clean. So they would wear linens as undergarments and change them fairly frequently.
Yeah, and that makes sense a little bit because they thought that it was like the cloth absorbed bad things and that it would cleanse your skin. And it does have that gauzy sort of medical feel and look,
Yes. And also, Chuck, all of those, that whole look from that era, the Sir Walter Raleigh Pilgrim era, and I know they're not quite the same era, having frilly cuffs or frilly collar, those are showing your undergarments, and they're saying like, I'm wearing undergarments. Look at how clean it is. I'm a clean person. That's what what those were for. I always thought they were just fashion, but they were a display of hygienity.
Yeah.
Which,
Can't
by
you
the
see
way,
my neck ruffle?
I hate that word hygiene more than I hate the word moist.
Oh, yeah. Hygiene is kind of gross.
I got two words for you that are even worse than just hygiene alone. You ready?
Okay.
Hygienic utensil.
Oh, I thought you were going to say sebum pocket again.
No, sebum, I mean, I get it. It's not a very, very pretty word, but it's at least rounded. Hygienic is just, it's somehow clinical and clean and gross at the same time. I don't get it.
So what did you say? Hygienic tool?
Hygienic utensil.
Oh, utensil. Yeah, because they would use those. There were like scrapers and things that, if you didn't want to take a bath, you might, I think King Louis the, 14th?
Yes.
Supposedly never took a bath or very few. And he would, I know we talked about aqua vitae on some episode, but that's the 90 proof ethanol alcohol. So he would scrape himself with these scrapers and wipe himself down with alcohol instead of just taking a bath. Yeah.
So again, they were clean and trying to be clean. They were just clean in ways we don't really recognize or think are just kind of ridiculous today. But again, if there's one thread throughout this whole episode, it's that humans have basically always had the impulse to groom themselves somehow.
Yeah, and especially as different theories of disease come along, like once germ theory came along, and that kind of semi-coincided with plumbing getting better and better, all of a sudden people were like, all right, if you got a little status, then you can afford baths and you can afford to stay clean and therefore healthy. Yeah,
the first shower, it's called a shower box that you could buy and install at your house, was from like the mid-18th century. So we've had showers for a while. And that's apparently cool. The United States outpaced Europe in adopting indoor plumbing and bathroom fixtures because we were basically building this new nation and industrializing at a time when Europe was already still well established. So it was easier for us to install pipes rather than retrofit.
Yeah, that's so funny. That makes perfect sense.
It does. It's hilarious. Now we need to retrofit everything because our sewers are falling apart, as is most of the infrastructure in the United States.
Oh, well, speaking of soapboxes, we promised a little bit of talk of soap. We have a really good episode on soap and its history, but as a recap, the Mesopotamians used rendered fat and lye from wood ash, and that was sort of a primitive soap. But a lot of this early soap was used to wash clothes and blankets and stuff like that, and it wasn't used for washing the body until later.
No, it was once we figured out, and I mean we learned from the Middle Easterners during the Crusades that you could make soap from vegetable oil rather than pork fat soap. Yeah, that's when we started using it on our bodies for sure. Yeah,
I imagine it was a lot of that early soap was very filmy and kind of greasy.
Yeah, and when you put a fat together with with lye, so if you derive lye from wood ash and then fat from either animals or plants, a process called saponification happens. It's a chemical reaction. You get glycerol, and I can't remember the other thing. Fatty acid salts or soap salts, and there's your soap right there.
I was about to say we could go grab Emily for specifics, but
for sure.
That'd be great if she just was like, no, I don't remember any of that stuff. My business is done.
Right, yeah.
Civil War, all of a sudden, people were like, post-Civil War, I guess, or actually during the Civil War, they realized that good health could come from bathing regularly, cleaning your body. And that's when real commercial soap came onto the scene, thanks to Procter & Gamble, who introduced ivory soap finally to the world. The floating ivory soap.
Yeah, the whole It Floats thing was a reference to river bathing, which most people still did at the time. Even if you had access to water, you probably didn't have a shower, which meant you had to heat up water, pour it into a tub, and it was a big process. So it was probably easier to just take a cold bath in the river, and if your ivory soap floated, you could find it more easily than having to dig around on the river bottom.
Yeah.
River bathing just sounds really great to me, but 19th or earlier, 19th century or earlier river bathing, I would not want to bathe in most of the rivers in America today.
I've done it.
Do you not know about our infrastructure?
No, I've done it on camping trips, and, it's always important to use the, I don't know what you call it, but the soap that's okay for rivers. That doesn't hurt, fish.
Oh, sure. Without phosphates, I think.
Yeah, but even then, I'm like, is this really okay? I don't know. They say it is.
Yeah, I think a fairly natural soap is fine. It's the industrial soap that's the problem because it's so much easier to create chemicals that stand in for the natural version.
Yeah.
So that's usually the problem. The natural version's probably just fine for the river.
I guess REI wouldn't do me wrong, right?
No way.
Shampoo also came along thanks to Procter & Gamble, the shampoo that we think of today, and that was Drene, Drene, was I think one of the first ones, and that was in the 1930s. And that's when they said, all right, like you were kind of talking about, we've developed these synthetic surfactants now that clean your hair really good. And prior to that, people were using boiled soap shavings, and that was sort of filmy and gross. So they eventually came up with the synthetic stuff, and it worked well.
Yeah, good enough at least.
Do you wash your hair every day? You don't wash your hair every day.
Yeah, almost every day.
Oh, wow. All right.
Yeah, I have to really watch it. I've got to use good shampoo because it's really easy to dry out and strip. And I didn't use conditioner for a while because I think I used bag conditioner. So it just my hair would just be flat and limp and lifeless on my head. And I'd be like, I'm not using this. But now I found that if you use good conditioner and use it every couple of days, oh boy, my hair looks amazing.
Yeah, I mean, people's hair is different, and different hair does better sometimes washing it a lot, maybe, and conditioning, and sometimes not washing it as much. And I know, hair styling, my hair styles better after a couple of days without washing it.
Sure.
So I only wash my hair once a week, maybe.
You have a thick, nice mane of hair, and I do not. I've got Anthony Kiedis hair.
I have a lot of hair, but it is thin. It's not a, thin. I think thin, is that the hair strand that's thin?
Well, yeah, and then collectively they're thin.
Yeah, maybe that's it, because it looks like I have a lot of hair, but I don't. In college, my little ponytail, it's as big around as a ring finger, maybe. I was always jealous of these guys that had those big, beefy ponytails.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. A horse's tail. Or a pony, I guess. Huh. I never put those two together.
The Carrie's got.
Did he have a ponytail?
He grew his hair out once when he lived in L.A. for a while. He grew his hair out.
Sure.
And, of course, he looked like a combination of Chris Cornell and Wonder Woman. Linda Carter.
Sure.
He's great hair.
Only
that
Scott
guy.
could pull that off.
Oh, I know. It looked good.
Let me, I want to correct myself too. Your hair can be thin individually and also it can be thin in number.
I think I have both.
So it sounds like you have thick hair that's thin in number.
Oh, all right.
That'd be my guess.
Okay.
Either way, your hair looks magnificent all the time.
Well, thanks. Yours does
I
too.
like it.
That's good. Should we take a break or should we keep going? Should we talk perfume and then break?
Yeah, let's do that. And we should direct people to our perfume episode. You know, we've done an episode on almost every section in here.
I know. It's funny. Yeah, we really have. Did we do one deodorant?
Yeah, the difference between antiperspirant and deodorant. Very old. Long time ago.
Yeah, that's an old one. Perfume, though, is, I've talked about it plenty of times about how much I hate colognes and perfumes and getting in lift cars and elevators and just ended up smelling like someone else. I think it's, I don't want to yuck yum, but you're making someone else smell. So I feel like it's okay to stand up and say, please stop doing that.
Sure.
Because that smell gets on you. But ancient Egypt and places like that would have been a nightmare.
Yeah.
And like the Versailles, like all these places, all they did was just cake perfumes and smells onto everything instead of really bathing and washing.
Right, because then you have like all these crazy floral and sweet scents on top of body odor, which means it's kind of intermingled with body odor. So it's not, it would not have been pleasant for me either.
Yeah, it's no good. Ancient Egypt, they use ostrich egg, apparently, and tortoise shell.
Yeah, I could not find anything on that.
Yeah, that must have, I don't know what kind of odor that would have. Maybe that was a stabilizer or something. I don't know.
Smell like tortoise?
I don't know.
Well, the thing is I think we must have mentioned this in the perfume episode too. With distillation in the 13th century, you finally get alcohol-based perfumes, and that revolutionized everything. I don't think we talked about, because this was news to me, the first known or recorded alcohol-based perfume was called Queen of Hungary water. Supposedly hails from the 13th century, named after the 13th century Queen Elizabeth or Isabel of Hungary at the time.
With an S.
Yes. Yeah, that's
Not a
very
Z, right?
Hungarian. And it was scented with rosemary.
I like rosemary.
Sure.
You ever stroke a rosemary plant on a dog walk from a neighbor?
Yeah, my friend, we have long branches of rosemary like sitting around our house in vases and stuff.
Yeah, it's
so
great.
Yes, to answer your question, every time.
I mean, we have our own rosemary, but yeah, when we're on walks and we see a rosemary, basically everyone in the family just runs their hand along one of them and then kind of wipes it on their shirt or something.
Yep. And for that
It's a
reason,
great smell.
You should never use rosemary that you grow in the front of your house that people can contact in your food.
Oh, man, I didn't even think about that.
I mean, that's on them. If they're using it, you can go ahead and walk and touch. That's what people do. But if they're using it to cook with, that's their fault. They need to grow it in the back.
So someone's marinating steak might have a little chuck on it?
A little bit of chuck.
I like to think that adds a little certain something.
It does. It's spicy.
So we talked about germ theory of disease. For a while, that was called the miasma theory of disease.
That was in our Great Stink episode.
Yeah, and that's when they thought that, the nasty smelling air could be a carrier of disease. And I guess what they were talking about was airborne illnesses, which could happen for sure. But going around and spraying really sweet smelling herbs and things, I don't think really helped much.
No, definitely not. Their treatment for it didn't make sense. But it's puzzled me why people just poo-poo this like it's idiocy. Like it makes a lot of sense, actually.
Sure.
There's probably I think there's diseases that have like distinct smells that humans can detect. So it makes sense to me. And I mean, there's actually something called tularemia, which is a type of disease. I can't remember exactly what kind it is, but you can get it from inhaling the decay of a rotting rabbit or cat carcass.
Oh, my gosh.
And it's bad. It's bad news because that's actually the worst version of tularemia. You can get it all sorts of ways, like through touch and all that stuff too. But when you inhale it, the respiratory version is really bad. And it stinks, obviously. The carcass of the cat or rabbit stinks at that point. But you're actually getting, exactly. You're getting disease from an offensive smell that's mixed with those odor molecules. So, I mean, there's at least one disease that miasma theory holds up with.
All right. I think we've talked about
I'm
that
dying
too.
on this hill.
All right. Well, let's take a break, and we'll talk about deodorant and wind it down with bad breath right after this.
We've all had the experience of calling a business and just wanting to talk to a real person. Not an automated voice pretending to be human, an actual person who can listen and understand and offer help.
That's exactly what you can do with Ruby. Ruby is the virtual receptionist company that takes care of your callers when you're unavailable in the middle of something or simply don't want to pick up.
That's right. They can answer, screen, transfer calls. They can take messages, collect payments, book appointments, and more, all while making the people you serve feel special.
And best of all, it can help you be more productive. For example, 9 out of 10 lawyers who use Ruby log more billable hours per day than the national average.
And other professionals like plumbers and technicians win more customers while being able to stay focused on the job. But whatever kind of small business you run, Ruby is built to save you time, earn you more customers or clients, and make meaningful connections with the people you serve.
It's available 24/7, 365 days a year, and 100% based in the U.S. See why more than 15,000 small businesses use Ruby. Visit ruby.com, or better yet, call them at 844-900-RUBY. Hey everybody, here's a fact for you. In the United States, there is a break-in every 26 seconds, and that means that somewhere right now, an intruder is getting closer. And the problem with most security systems is that they only alert you after the break-in has started, and that's too late.
Well, that's what makes SimpliSafe different. They use alerts. SimpliSafe's U.S.-based live agents, they identify threats on your property and help deter them before they actually break in. So the intruder never gets into your house. The crime is stopped before it even starts.
That's right. And another great thing about SimpliSafe is they have no long-term contracts. They give you peace of mind and great value with their monitoring deterrence plans because they just start at about $1 a day.
Yeah, SimpliSafe sent us a setup years back, and I still use mine every day.
Yeah, and apparently setup, you can do it by yourself in under 30 minutes, so it's a really good value and it doesn't take long.
So if you want to experience the SimpliSafe peace of mind, you can take advantage of the SimpliSafe discount offered to Stuff You Should Know listeners. Right now, you can get 50% off your new system by visiting simplisafe.com/stuff. That's half off at simplisafe.com/stuff. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Work can be a little weird. One minute you're in a meeting that could have been an email. The next you're trying to decode corporate jargon that somehow means nothing. And don't even get us started on the quick sync that turns into a 45-minute deep dive.
Yeah, well, the truth is figuring out your career isn't always straightforward. Whether you're trying to grow, pivot, or just stay relevant, it can feel like you're navigating it all on your own. Well, that's where LinkedIn comes in.
That's right. LinkedIn can help you grow your career, helping you confidently navigate your path with insights, ideas, and inspiration from your professional community. You can stay up to date with the latest trends in your field, connect with people who get it, and discover opportunities tailored to your goals, your experience, and what actually matters to you.
Whether you're looking for something new or just trying to grow where you are, LinkedIn gives you the tools and connections to move forward with confidence. Because LinkedIn is the network that works for you. Visit linkedin.com/knowstuff to learn more.
All right, so deodorant, the first commercial deodorant that really sold was called MUM, M-U-M, all the way back in 1888. And it was a cream that you applied that would kill odor-producing bacteria. It was kind of greasy. 1903 surprised me. Everdry, that was the first antiperspirant all the way back in 1903.
Yeah, and it used the same stuff that they use today, aluminum salts that plug the pores that keep you from sweating. That's how antiperspirants work. So speaking of this stuff, deodorant and antiperspirant, it's significant and unique in that this is not an ancient type of grooming. This is actually really new. Like, this doesn't have its roots in Greece or Egypt unless you count perfumes. The actual attempt to counter body odor with deodorant and antiperspirant is a 20th century invention, basically.
That's right. And a teenager invented something called odorono, like odor, oh no, named Edna Murphy. She was the daughter of a surgeon, and he had apparently sweaty hands. So she invented this antiperspirant to keep daddy's hands dry, and then started selling it door to door in pharmacies and stuff. It did not catch on initially because people were like, oh, I've got these dress shields to soak up my underarm sweat and keep my shirt from getting pit stains.
Rubber dress shields.
Yeah.
Can you imagine anything worse?
No, I can't. They still make dress shields. People wear them, I guess.
Rubber ones?
No, I don't know about rubber, but I mean, dress shields are a thing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Look up dress shields. You can buy them on, DressShields.com.
You can buy cat-based dress shields.
But the odorono wasn't going well until advertising really picked up on it, and marketing, and a guy named James Young, who was a copywriter, ended up being very successful, started doing something that would become a hallmark that I think some would argue still goes on today, which is selling beauty products and hygiene products out of fear, most notably targeted toward women. And you'll see this over and over from here on out, which is your breath might stink and you won't get a man. Your body probably stinks, so you won't get a man. You got smell or underarm sweat on your dress, so you can't get a man. And it was all based around this thing like, ladies, unless you clean up your act, literally, then you're not going to get that husband. Yeah.
And this guy is patient zero, James Young, the guy who created this whole thing. And they still do it today. It's crazy. But he had I guess for odorono, he had an advertising campaign called, I think the curve of a woman's arm. And it looked like an article in the Ladies' Home Journal. It had like a headline, and the subtitle was a frank discussion of a subject too often avoided. And it was basically about, like, do you think you're dainty? Are you sure you're dainty? Do you know it's possible you smell? And if you smell, you probably don't detect it yourself. Other people do. And this was like huge. Like people did not talk about that kind of thing. And there's this whole one-page ad in the Ladies' Home Journal. And apparently 200 subscribers canceled their subscriptions and cited that as the reason. But as far as odorono was concerned, it worked really well because their sales increased, I think, 113% year over year.
Yeah, that's a big jump. And just to keep people from emailing, odorono is also the name of a Who song.
Oh, really?
From the band The Who. It was on The Who Sell Out, which was that one record they did. It's kind of a concept record, I guess, where there were like little fake, it was supposed to be like a radio station, so they made these little fake radio commercials. And odorono was one that Pete Townsend wrote and sang about the deodorant odorono, and he has a big giant stick of odorono on the album cover that he's putting on.
I mean, that's a great one to choose because that was the one that changed everything. That really kind of created marketing to people's worst fears and self-consciousness about themselves.
And all of the ads kind of from here on out for a long time. And like I said, still today, there are ads that sort of poke around that. They're not as overt. Like the one, I think it was, it was odorono again, that said, beautiful but dumb, she's never learned the first rule of long-lasting charm, which is, don't stink.
Right, exactly. And again, it was women that were targeted at first because, like you said, you're never going to get a man because you smell, so use odorono. And then eventually men fell under the spell of James Young and his ilk. And there was a deodorant called Top Flight, which was first sold in the 30s. And I think another one called Seaforth marketed to men that, we're in the Great Depression and everybody's job is insecure. So do you want to be the one at the office that stinks because you're going to be the first one they cut when layoffs come around? Like that's nuts. And when you look at it historically, it's like, that's crazy. And then you look at our ads today, and it's like, this is the same thing. It's just more sophisticated. Yeah.
The Seaforth was, at least one version of it in the 40s was sold in, it looks like a whiskey jug. And actually found the one, it wasn't eBay, it was some other sales site, but it supposedly still had product in it.
Really?
And it was only $12. So I was like, maybe I should buy this. I got
Sure
to see
you
what
should.
that tastes like, or tastes like gross. What it smells like.
Was it Etsy that you saw it on?
No, I don't remember where it was, but
It was
I might
probably
buy that.
Etsy.
You think?
So, Chuck, I think we should finish up, wind down, as you put it before, with bad breath. And I would direct people to our halitosis, I think, worst smell ever episode,
Yeah.
which is a good one. But again, this is got some new stuff in it, if you ask me. Like, did you know that in the Talmud, bad breath is considered a, quote, major disability and grounds for divorce?
It's in the Talmud.
Yeah, isn't that nuts? I had no idea. But it's been around a long time. People are like, hey, you can do something about that, and you should for the rest of our sake.
Yeah, I think it's interesting how maybe underarm body odor was just sort of accepted, and people are like, I guess that's what people smell like. Mm-hmm. But it seems like from the beginning, bad breath, people are like, no. I don't like that.
Isn't that interesting? I don't know why.
It really is.
Yeah,
I don't either.
So people have been combating this. This is like the opposite of deodorant. Like, people have been trying to do something about this for a really long time. We've recognized some plants having like fresh smells or almost antiseptic smells. And cultures around the world who were never in contact with one another all were like, hey, if I chew this, it might do something for my breath.
Yeah. And all kinds of cultures all over the world have and still do chew on little twigs and sticks of different plants because A, they might make things smell a little better. B, you're kind of scrubbing your teeth like you would a toothbrush. Mm-hmm. And I think that's it. Just A and B?
Sure. Yeah, it makes well, no, there's another one that's antibacterial most of the time.
Oh, there you go. I knew that was a number 3.
And yeah, A, B, and 3.
Yeah. And they've also ground up different kinds of powders to make into what, would qualify as toothpaste.
Yes, and these were very misguided because they were like, oh, if we use an abrasive, it'll get that gunk off really, really well. Mm-hmm. So they would use everything from like ground up oyster shells to sand to pulverized bricks to pumice. And they figured out pretty quickly at different times in different places, and I guess the knowledge was lost or not passed on, that you couldn't get too abrasive because you'll pull the enamel right off of the teeth. So there were probably a lot of unhappy people walking around at different periods in history with stripped enamel off of their teeth and really, really sensitive teeth because their roots were that much more exposed, which is awful.
Yeah, it is awful. Yeah, and I think people can overbrush today and do similar damage, right?
Sure. And it wasn't just the toothpaste or tooth powders or whatever they were concocting that were problematic. The original toothbrushes, I think the first one was invented in China just before the 1500s, and it used hog bristles. That thing was in use until the 20th century around the world. They basically used hog bristles until nylon was invented in the 30s. And they're like, let's see if this makes a softer brush than hog bristles that make our gums bleed every time we brush.
Have you ever pet a hog?
Yeah, they're not soft. They look soft, but they're not.
It's almost like porcupine-esque. That stuff is really bad.
A little bit. Also, go check out our porcupine episode.
Right. All right. Well, let's wind it up then with, I think we've covered this too. I didn't realize.
We did an episode on the hygiene hypothesis.
Yeah. Can you get too clean? And the answer is yes. Since 2016, when the FDA banned some ingredients in antibacterial soaps.
We did an episode on that too.
Yeah, they started saying, you don't have to keep saying that.
It's so fun though.
They've said some of this stuff is having negative health impacts because you're wiping out all the bacteria, potentially creating superbugs, good microbes that you need. And let's tone it down here with the antibacterial stuff. Yeah,
I knew about the superbugs problem. What I didn't know is that there's possibility that the two main ingredients, triclosan and triclocarban, are also hormonal disruptors too. So there's a lot of reasons not to use antibacterial soaps, and chief among them is you don't need it. It doesn't do anything more than regular soap, and it's probably harmful. They also kill bacteria indiscriminately, and as we're slowly realizing here in the 21st century, the microbiome in our body and on our body is really vital to our health. So you don't want to just kill off everything if you don't have to. And it can irritate skin in all sorts of places.
Yeah. That sebum. And again, like hair, everyone's skin is different. Mm-hmm. So some people skin does better if it's a little oilier. Some skin gets way too oily and, acne can happen. Did one on acne too. But I remember, and I might have told this story in the acne when I was little, I wanted to, or not little, I was probably like 12. Mm-hmm. My sister and other teenagers were using the like Buff Puffs and Neutrogena soap. Mm-hmm. And I thought, that made you like, how you pretend to do older things.
Sure.
And so one time I got a Buff Puff and a Neutrogena and like scrubbed my face really good, just like my sister did. Yeah. And I had never had pimples until I did that. And I had pimples after that just for like that week. And then I luckily never really had pimples again. But it's because I disrupted my natural skin oils and dried myself out really bad.
Mm-hmm. I did the same exact thing, and with Neutrogena too, and I used it almost every day.
Oh, you kept using it?
I did, and I'm quite sure I changed the chemistry of my face for a very long time as well. I had a really oily T-zone afterward.
What's a T-zone?
It's the part across the top of your eyebrows and down your nose.
Oh.
Oily T-zone.
That's a pretty good... Maybe that's the record for the album title for Sebum Pocket.
Yeah, it is. It'd be a concept album, too.
What else? Do we have anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Yeah, check out the Hygiene Hypothesis. It's interesting.
Oh, very.
I think everyone kind of gets that. We don't need to recap that.
No. If you want to know about it, just go listen to our episode on the Hygiene Hypothesis.
Yeah.
This one was chock full of interesting stuff and references to interesting episodes we've done. So hopefully you'll be like, oh, perfume, didn't know about that. Oh, soap, didn't know about that. And you'll just go enjoy a bunch of grooming and hygiene episodes. Okay?
Totally.
Chuck said totally. That means it's time for listener mail.
Did we do a listener mail on another episode?
Everyone, almost. Starting back in, a long time ago when you had that idea.
That's right.
I said, I've got a really good idea.
All right, here we go. We're going to call this jogging. I might need your help because there's a little bit of French in here.
Okay.
Hey, guys. Was delighted to learn about the history of exercise in America and surprised of how recent it was. Mm-hmm. Something in the discussions of jogging reminded me of a wonderful story I heard from a friend. We'll call him Paul.
Paul.
That's his name. Some time ago, Paul helped chaperone a high school exchange trip to France, and he quite enjoyed the family that he stayed with. They were kind, and the father would invite him to join him on a run. The way this invite was expressed was, how would you say F-A-I-T-D-U, jogging?
Faidu.
Faidu jogging?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that means, though, but I've seen it before.
I guess, do you want to jog with me, maybe?
I
or
guess.
Do you like to jog? Do you want to jog? I don't know.
I don't know what Faidu means. I'm going to look it up, though, while you read.
Yeah, look it up while I'm reading. So anyway, the Frenchman would say, fais du jogging, and said in a cute French accent, even the jogging, and it just was amazingly adorable. You guys should give it a try, which I just did. Mm-hmm. Paul, though, every time would agree, thinking it would be a nice little gentle jog around the neighborhood, but every time he was reminded this was not the case. Before they'd even left the driveway, the Frenchman set off at a dead sprint because he was training for a race that was a long-distance sprinting event. He was also clearly an athlete. Paul would quickly give up and revert back to just regular jogging. And it sounds like the father did a few laps around the city like this and caught Paul, lapped him as they got back to the house. I think about this story almost every time I hear the word jogging, and I usually mutter that in a French accent under my breath for a good chuckle. Thanks for joining me in my breakfast wanders before work. Stay well, and that is from James.
Okay, so I think what he was saying is, shall we go jog, or would you like to go jog? But what he was saying is makes the jog. So he's saying, do you want to go make the jog?
That's very cute.
It is. It's even cuter when you know it. That's a good reason to learn other languages, everybody.
Agreed.
Who was that from?
James.
Thanks a lot, James, and also Paul indirectly too, and also Paul's exchange family. That was very nice of you to accept him into your lives. If you want to send us an email, just like James did, you can send it off to stuffpodcast@iheartradio.com.
Stuff You Should Know is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.
Mom, can I have Lingo Kids? Dad, Lingo Kids, please!
When did we become the Lingo Kids house?
No idea. Last week it was dinosaurs. This week it's...
Lingo Kids!
Why Lingo Kids?
Because it's the best thing ever. We can play games with astronauts, wild animals, and superheroes.
With more than 4,000 interactive games, songs, and shows, Lingo Kids is the #1 entertainment platform for young kids.
So, no dinosaurs?
And dinosaurs! Lingo Kids!
Everything kids love. Download it for free.
You know, you could be adored by everyone and still completely ignored by your cat. Trust me, I know. But if you feed your cat Sheba, you can go from being ignored to truly adored in 12 days guaranteed or your money back. Sheba has a full menu of products, appetizers, entrees, treats, even a kitten's menu. It's so cute, so Sheba has a product for even the pickiest eater. Like Sheba Puree, it's made with bone broth, they are chef-inspired flavors, it's got a smooth and creamy texture that cats love, and contains no corn, wheat, soy, or artificial flavors. It's food that your cat's gonna love. To learn more, check out Sheba.com. That's SHEBA.com.
Stuff at Sea is a 5-night, adults-only sailing trip that brings the Stuff podcast universe to life on board. This voyage is a culture-soaked escape where pink sand paradise meets curious minds. Sailing round trip from New York City to Bermuda on October 2nd to 7th, 2026, this voyage drops you straight into the iHeart Podcast Stuff universe. On top of the adults-only experience you already love, you'll get live podcast episode recordings, behind-the-scenes sessions, themed activations, and more unmissable onboard moments. Learn more at virginvoyages.com/stuff.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.